Hey everyone, this is Brian Allen with International Security Training, and in the light of a couple court cases that I've seen in the news over the last couple of days, where either individuals, a company, and two agencies have lost in a court of law, I wanted to discuss with everyone the foreseeability of threats and how that can hurt us. I don't want you or your employer to be found negligent in a court of law. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So, how can foreseeability hurt us? Well, by being sued. I mean, that's simply the fact, all right? So, we can be a casino, I can be the owner of a bar, I can be a security manager, I can be a police officer, I can be a bouncer, I can be an executive protection agent. All of us in these industries have the risk of being sued. And you need to look at how much of a risk is there for you in your situation. You know, when you look at it, these things right here are going to be the first thing that a legal team is going to look at when somebody calls them up and says, I've been hurt, I've been damaged, or I've been wronged, and it's your fault, okay? Or it's Johnny's fault, and I want to sue him for everything he has. So the attorney or the team is going to call them in. Heck, it might even be a paralegal at this stage. They're going to see if there was a legal relationship between the injured person and the company or the agency or the bouncer, the person, right? Security staff. If there is a legal relationship, then they're going to look up and say, well, is there a duty of care? So does the person that's being accused, do they have a responsibility to protect or at least not hurt this individual? And if they can establish that there's a legal relationship, there's a duty of care, then they're going to say or ask, was there any foreseeability? Okay. And we're going to talk about things that they will look at to answer that question for them. And if there is some foreseeability, well, then they're going to put together a case. And in a lot of cases, they're going to win an award for their injured client based on negligence. And negligence is the minimum thing. That's if there's not any intentional crimes that are committed. Okay. So, I don't know where you sit right now. Are you a security staff member? Are you a supervisor? Are you a manager? Are you an establishment owner? I don't know. But all of these things come into play. And thinking like what we're about to talk about, when you have this type of thought process, this is what separates the professionals from the amateurs. This is what separates a true executive protection agent or a VIP protection agent from somebody who claims to be a bodyguard or a bouncer. Okay, this is where you want to get at. This is why we let people blow off a little bit of steam while we're controlling an environment. This is why we don't engage people who deserve that ass kicking. They're talking a lot of crap. They're pissing you off. They're pissing me off too, but we don't engage unless we have to. Okay? So, what do the courts look for to back up this little formula I gave you up top? Well, first of all, in any establishment, they're going to look for inadequate lighting, okay? If there's inadequate lighting, people can get hurt, crimes can go down. If you're talking about a regular, let's say you are the director of security for a facility, manufacturing plant, okay? And a lady gets mugged in the parking lot as she's going home for the day. And she thinks it's your fault. Well, she goes to an attorney. The attorney looks, and they say, you know what? There's no lighting in this parking lot. And it's a very large parking lot. And she has to walk across a little, like a path. So she was all alone. The company should have known about it. Yeah, they're going to say that there's some negligence there. Okay, the company didn't commit any crime. They certainly didn't want her to get hurt. But there's some negligence. So they look at that. If you're in a bar situation, okay, there's always going to be inadequate lighting, but there has to be certain lighting requirements that are met near the exits, okay, near ATMs, okay, on the way to restrooms, okay. Is there adequate lighting where there are cameras installed? So they're going to be looking at things like that, okay. They're going to go for untrained staff. And the reason why I put these two things first is because most of the awards that I have seen, and I look up this, I mean, this is part of my job, right? lighting and untrained staff are where the attorneys are always winning. They know it's easy for them to get an award, especially the bigger the person that's being sued. Okay, if they go after an agency or a company with deep pockets, boom, they hit these two things: lighting and untrained staff, and it's or how about trained staff, but there's no training documentation to prove that they were trained. Remember, if it didn't get written down, it didn't happen. All right. So untrained staff. How about previous attacks or complaints? If we go back to that facility security situation in the manufacturing plant, were there previous complaints of weird people hanging around the parking lots? Had somebody been attacked before? Okay, that's going to definitely hurt you. If you go back to the bar owner situation, again, were there previous attacks? Were there complaints? Have there been fights and security wasn't adjusted to that situation? They're going to look at the previous situation. They're going to look at serious crime in the area. Okay? If you are the head of security for a restaurant, a bar, a nightclub, or a facility that manufactures a certain product, it is your job to know where you are at, conduct a serious evaluation, and actually it's coming up here next is we're going to talk about the threat survey or the security surveys. It's your job to know what the hell's going on in your area. And then as soon as you become aware of something, you have to do what you can to minimize the chances of these things happening in your area of responsibility. Another thing that a legal team will go after is they'll ask a company or an owner for their security survey. And half the time these people are like, well, we don't do a security survey. I got some cameras up. All right. So, boom, strike one against you. Or if you do produce a survey, is it timely? Is it done every year? In that survey, do you go back and look at the serious crime in the area? Do you include all the things above that we just mentioned? Okay. If you're not doing that, your survey is going to be found inadequate, unprofessional. It's not going to be doing what it is supposed to do, which is number one, it's going to hurt your case because you don't have an awareness. And if you don't have an awareness, you can't take steps to mitigate harm from the people that you have the duty of care to protect. And a lot of people, they don't see the duty of care when I'm talking about the nightclub situation. They only see it in that, let's say that manufacturing facility thing, right? They're like, oh, okay, well, it's a company. They manufacture stuff. They have employees. Well, no kidding, they have a duty of care. And there should be, some foreseeability there. But a nightclub, people come in and, of their own accord, they drink. That's their fault, right? They're adults. They know what they're doing. Well, I tell you what, a professional security team in a nightclub is there to protect the patrons, okay? And I want these patrons to come back. If I'm in charge of this security team, the only reason why I have a job is because we have customers. We have patrons. I want to make sure that everybody has a good time. And if they do drink too much or if things do start to get out of hand, I want to interject myself professionally, reduce the magnitude of the anger, the excitement, whatever you have going on there. That way, nothing happens and this person or the group of people can come back tomorrow, buy more food, buy more liquor, tip the dancers better, and keep me employed. Kind of funny way to look at it, but that's my job. I'm not there to harass people, fight people, beat people up, and all that kind of crap. So it's a different way to look at our job in the security world. So I hope this helps you out a little bit. It's almost 10 minutes. So that's all I'm going to throw out there today. I hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe out there. And until next time, my name is Brian with International Security Training.